We don't have TVs. Zionism is against the Jewish basics. We're speaking in mosques, we're speaking in universities. The best way is to go in Palestinian demonstrations. The media here in England, in the Western world, they ignore us.
Judaism is both a religion, but it is also a national identity of people.
एक आम तासुर पाया जाता है कि दुनिया भर के यहूदी शायद इसराइल की हमायत करते हैं और फ़लस्तीनियों के उनके हुकूक़ के और उनकी जो रियासत है जो उनको बुनियादी हक़ है उसके ख़िलाफ़ है। लेकिन कम लोगों को ये पता है कि दुनिया में आबाद में ऐसे यहूदी हैं जो इसराइल की पूरी रियासत है वो उसको पसंद नहीं करते और उसका वो यहूदियों के अंदर से एक बहुत बड़ी एक मूवमेंट है, एक बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप है कि जो इसराइल की जो करंट शेप है जो और ख़ास तौर पर जो ज़ायनिज़म है उसके ख़िलाफ़ है। वो इसराइल के ख़िलाफ़ कैंपेन भी करते हैं और इसराइल की जो फ़लस्तीनियों के जो हुकूक़ हैं उनके लिए आवाज़ भी उठाते हैं। करोड़ों की तादाद में ऐसे यहूदी हैं जो इसराइल की जो नेशनलिस्ट जो स्टेट है उसके ख़िलाफ़ है, लेकिन उनकी एक बड़ी तादाद ऐसी है जो एक्टिव नहीं है। लेकिन वो जो इसराइल के ख़िलाफ़ यहूदी है उनके अंदर एक ऐसा ग्रुप भी है जिसकी लाखों में तादाद मौजूद है जो एक्टिवली जो इसराइल के ख़िलाफ़ और ज़ायनिज़म के ख़िलाफ़ जो कैंपेन भी करते हैं। बरतानिया का जो मशहूर एरिया है स्टैमफर्ड हिल जो जहाँ पर बहुत कदीमी यहाँ पर यहूदियों की कम्युनिटीज़ आबाद है, कई हज़ार यहूदी यहाँ पर आबाद हैं। वहाँ पर मुख्तलिफ ऐसे कई दर्जनों सिनेगॉग्स हैं, वहाँ पूरी कम्युनिटीज़ हैं हज़ारों की तादाद में जो एक्टिवली कैंपेन करती हैं इसराइल के ख़िलाफ़। उस कम्युनिटी का नाम है नातूरी कारता। रबाई इल्हान बैक उनका नाम है जो लीड करते हैं उस कम्युनिटी को। जो चंद बड़े लीडर्स में से कि आज हम उनसे बात करते हैं और जानते हैं कि उनकी जो पूरी मूवमेंट है वो किस बारे में है। रबाई, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर स्पीकिंग टू अस. Can you please tell us about your movement and what does it stand for? Because there is a general impression as if that every Jew out there is a supporter of Israel, but you are actually against the state of Israel and you campaign against the state of Israel.
Look, the state of Israel is already 73 years. It has been built on 1948. But the idea of Zionism, it's already 50 years earlier. This is 130 years about. Judaism is already 3,500 years. Zionism is just idea which has just come up. They try to build it on Judaism, but haven't got nothing to do with Judaism. Not only that, this is really the extreme opposites of what Judaism stands for. Judaism is a religion. It's not a race. It's a religion. Like Islam.
Explain to us, why are you against the state of Israel?
When you look in the Torah, it's written in the Torah that God promised a land for the Jewish people. And this is what the Zionists always waving with this flag, the promised land, the promised land, the promised land. But what they're ignoring, what they're ignoring is that in the Torah it's written many times that the land where given for the Jewish people only under certain conditions. If you keep a high moral of life, a high level of life. If not, it's written in the Torah 36 times that they will be exiled. Chapter 11, verse 13. It's starting here, God say that if you will keep the high level, what I am waiting from you, keeping the Torah, the 613 commandments, then I will give you everything what you need. If not, it's written here, in chapter 16 and 17, that if not, we will be exiled from the land. Hishomru lochem per yifta levavchem, v'satem vatem elim achayim, v'shtechavissem lohem, v'churu af Hashem bochem, v'utzas Hashem evlo yamut, v'adum l'sita in tzvila, v'avadetem ahayru ma'alahu etzatoivu. The Zionists, they don't believe in God, they don't believe in the Torah, so they look, how long we will stay in exile? Why? There's no reason for it. Let's go out. Let's organize ourselves. But it means you don't trust God. We trust God. He sent us in exile. We accept it. Even the worst times in exile, we accept. Let's say the Holocaust, what's happened for 80 years ago. Very bad. 6 million Jews were killed. That Zionism is against the Jewish basics, against the Jewish basic of religion.
Tell us about your campaign that you often run for the rights of Palestinians. Even today that we have met you, you were campaigning outside, putting leaflets through the neighborhood, through the Jewish homes, telling them about, informing them about the rights of Palestinians and why it is important to raise voice for the Palestinians.
Zionism is the strongest enemy for the Jewish people. So we try to go out on the streets, on demonstrations. We're speaking in mosques, we're speaking in universities, we're speaking in any gathering of people or try to explain the difference between Judaism and Zionism. But the Zionists say, look, I save you. I give you the Holy Land. I give you the holy sites, the Western Wall. I save you something. And this is completely confusing people because this is exactly what they're doing is the opposite from holiness. Holiness means bring people closer to God and then take away people from God. So it's making very big confusion into people. What we're doing, we clarify people within the Jewish community to keep away from Zionism. From the other side, what we're doing outside the Jewish community is we try to clarify the world. That Judaism and Zionism, it's not the same thing. It's not only not the same thing, it's extreme opposites. And we come in the show, we can sit in mosques, speak with imams, with sheikhs, we speak together, we have no problem with each other.
There are tens of thousands of Jews who agree with your views of Judaism and Zionism, but not a lot of them are active. It is the people who are like-minded to you. They are a small number who are active, such as yourself and other people in the community. What is the reason that? There are so many people who are against the Zionism, but they are not active. They do not openly oppose it, but people like yourself and some other are active. What is the reason that those people are not active? Why are they not coming out?
There are hundreds of thousands of Jewish people who are against the state of Israel. They are active, but only in their own way. I give you an example. In our website you can see it's nkusa.org. But however, give a look at the Satmar website, but it's TrueTorahJews.org. You will go in there, you will see videos on large demonstrations of tens of thousands of Jewish people came out in the streets to demonstrate against the state of Israel. Even here in London, we are not such a big community. Yes, we are several thousand. You can also see from time to time, let's say about once a year, then people going out in the streets, in Downing Street, or by Parliament. We make large demonstrations. The difference between us and them is not in that. The difference between us and them is we're going on other demonstrations. We're going on Palestinian demonstrations. And they're going in their own demonstrations.
Okay. You engage with the media, you engage with other groups, and rest of the anti-Israel groups, the Jewish anti-Israel groups, they campaign amongst their own community. And they are not as engaging with media as you are.
Not as me and not as us, but they're engaged with media. They try to do, but only in their own way. But we understand that if you want the message to come out, the best way is to go in Palestinian demonstrations. Because, the media here in England, in the Western world, they ignore us. They're ignoring also. They ignore all. Even if you have a demonstration of 20,000 people, this will not be in the English media at all.
Why do they ignore you? What is the reason particularly that they ignore
because
you?
The Zionists have a very big influence on the media. I myself, I was in Manhattan, in the 2nd Street, by the Israeli embassy. There was 30 to 40,000 Jews outside the Israeli embassy demonstrating. You can see it on TorahJews.org. You can see that in the videos. Nothing of them was mentioned in the media. Even the police, when they say the road is blocked, they say it's some roadblocks there. They didn't want to mention it's a Jewish demonstration. They ignore us more than you. Only publicity, only in the Muslim media, in the social media. So we find that to be effective, we have to go on the Muslim demonstrations. Then it's coming out our voice. We have a much wider.
You practice a primitive way of life.
We have all the technology what we need. Come into my house, you have the air conditioning, you have everything. We don't have TVs. Also the same thing for education of the children. We don't want them to see everything what's on the TV. In today's daily life, it's very, very against the normal morals, against the basic values what all our forefathers have. However, We have offices, we have businesses, large businesses, big businesses here. And we have in office, but at home we are try to keep away as much as we can to prevent our children not from the practical modern life.
Doesn't it put them at disadvantage at this age and day when, I mean, there is so much, influence and overflooding of information, modern technology, everything happening, every second there is something happening.
Why do you need to know what's happened in the same second in Australia and in Argentina? It gives you something. You can't eat if you don't know what's happening in Argentina. You can't eat. Why? Today everybody lives in airport. Everybody get crazy. Why you can't live a normal life? Speak to your children, play with them. You have a family. What's going on here? You have to be on the smartphone 24 hours a day. The children don't have a dad, don't have a mom. What's going on here?
Within the United Kingdom, what's the estimated figure of your like-minded people?
I don't know exactly because we are not organized, but what I can imagine, we are here Haredi families. People looks like me. I imagine about 10,000 families. This comes out a conclusion of we have large families. It comes out, let's say, from 15 and higher. You have 20,000. I don't know exactly.
In the whole United Kingdom or just London?
I speak about London. We have Manchester also a few thousand, several thousand. The Gates we have several thousand. I'm speaking about Haredi Jews. Yes.
Which Jews?
Haredi Jews. People looks like me, something like that.
There are a large number of them. So all of them who, for example, look like you have long hair.
Not exactly. We may cut it down, but it's like the Muslims. You may have a bed, you may have a covered, but you don't need to. The vast majority of them are against the state of Israel.
Okay.
And 95% of them, up to 95%, they are not Zionist. Zionism is not a part of the life.
They live in a large number in New York and
in New York you have hundreds of thousands, yes.
Hundreds of thousands in New York.
You have also in Belgium, you have in France, you have in many kinds.
In Germany, everywhere.
Vienna, in Germany not, but in Austria, in Vienna.
Are they not the same people who come under more attack than other Jews who are like just they do not practice like your manner? Because you're like Muslims and Sikhs, people who wear the religious symbol very visibly, they have been, there have been incidents of anti-Semitism, they have come under attack.
In reality, I must have. Okay, it can happen that a car going over, say, Jew! Okay, I mean, it's nothing. I don't face really anti-Semitism. This is one of the things that Israelis say, that we have to make a safe haven for Jews. Jews in danger, the whole world. Just look at two facts. The most dangerous place for Jews today, is in the state of Israel. Look, I live here 35 years.
How do you reconcile this with a view of, again, a very large number of Jews? They believe that they need a state because there are so many of them that they need to also belong to somewhere. I know you say that it is against the teachings of Torah, but there are Jews who say that they need to belong somewhere.
These people are empty of God, empty of Torah. They are non-believers. They are secular Jews. If somebody believes in God and believes in Torah, he is not empty. He don't need a state. He needs a God. He needs a religion. He needs a prayer. He needs to be connected to God. That's what he needs.
What is an average day for you like?
Average day, I'm standing up. I bless to God. Thank Him for my sleeping, for my standing up. I can keep sleep. Finish. Die. No, God gives me back the soul. I'm standing up. Then I go to prayers. I study a bit. Then I go to school. I eat something.
And are there any occasions where you also debate with your fellow Jews who you differ with?
Every day to synagogues, but Saturday is a special rest day. We don't go to work. And we're coming in the synagogues, and of course.
No, not just with the like-minded Jews, but with the Zionists. Do you come across them? Do you? No.
Usually not.
You don't come.
No, and we're not interested. They know exactly what's the right way. If they want to choose it, okay, they can take it. If not, go away. I mean, we are two nations.
They say that you people are extremists.
If you're speaking about what the Zionists say about us, of course, what do they say? I mean, everybody what's a non-believer will say of the believers, oh, they're extremists. Give a look at Muslims going with the caps, going with the beard. Oh, they're leaving for 500 years ago. I'm sorry, what's going on? Yes, they're extremists. It's very easy to say extremists. What they are, they have empty lives. They don't believe in nothing. They haven't got why they're leaving. We're leaving for a purpose. We're leaving to serve God sometimes because they are not agreeing what we're doing. They say, how are you going out on the streets with other people? Your message will be mixed. How you bring out this message? Not the right message, yes? Something like that. Or it's very, very famous. We've gone to Iran to the Holocaust Review conference. And they say, how are you going to a conference where they're taking part also Holocaust deniers? But we understand that we have to go there. And we say, my father was there. My father himself was a Holocaust survivor. He said, I was there. The Holocaust happened with me. I was in the bunker. I have the pictures. I can show you.
In this community where you live, there is a mosque next door to yours. There is another synagogue. How are your relations with the local Muslim and Pakistani community?
Very, very nice. I can say we have 200 minicabs drivers here. All of them, most of them, 95% of them are Pakistani people. And we send the small children of 2-3 years in the schools with them daily. We have no problem with them, really very good. I must tell you, this is false propaganda. The Jews and Muslims can't live together. We have a golden history in the Muslim countries. For centuries we live together much better than the whole part of the world. Jewish people live in Morocco, in Iran, in Algeria, in Tunisia, in Yemen, peacefully. I myself was in Morocco. I come in the border. People bring me the children. Rabbi, please, bless my children. My father was in Iran a few times. He was in Yemen a few times. Jews have a brilliant life there.
What's the number of total Jews around the world, and out of those total numbers, how many are anti-Zionists?
In the world, there are around today, I think, 17 million Jews. But only 2 of them, only 2 million they are religious. The other people that are misguided, they're secular Jews, they're unbelievers. I must tell you, I mean, with the whole respect, we don't count them as a Jew.
नटोरी काटा के आपने व्यूज़ सुने. अब हम आप बात करते हैं जो लिबरल जूज़ हैं, जो नटोरी काटा के जो व्यूज़ को समझते हैं कि वो बहुत शिद्दत पसंद है, और ये कि जिस तरह के व्यूज़ पे वो आज के ज़माने में बिलीव करते हैं, वो समझते हैं कि इस तरह के व्यूज़ के आज के ज़माने में कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है. रबाई ली से बात करते हैं जो लिबरल सिनेगॉग से जिनका ताल्लुक़ है. द पीपल हु आर अटैच्ड विद नटोरी काटा, दे बिलीव दैट anybody who does not practice Judaism as per the teachings of Torah has deviated from the religion, and that is that they deviated from the religion and then created the state of Israel. What do you have to say about it?
So I think there has always been different interpretations of religion, and I don't think we deviate from religion. I think I understand Jewish teaching to be a partnership of human beings with God, and therefore I think as human beings we have created the state of Israel, but that we want to do this in partnership with God, and I don't think it's a contradiction.
The followers of Natory Kata have become quite visible at different demonstrations. They stand with the people of Palestine, they show express solidarity with them, and they completely reject the very idea of the state of Israel. And they say that it is proven from Torah that there should be no state of Israel. That they say that Judaism is not a race; it is a religion. It is not a nation state.
So I think Judaism is both a religion, but it is also a national identity of people. And I think the Torah is very clear that we are to go to a land, the promised land, where we are to be a sovereign nation. And I think that isn't just something that was to happen in biblical times, but I do believe that we have a right as other people to a sovereign state. I stand in solidarity with Palestinians too. I believe in Jewish sovereignty and in Palestinian sovereignty.